A Precious Rainbow by Miles Prower 06. 3.1 A Crack in the Case. Two sets of hooves raced down the dirt path towards the finish line. One set light brown, the other set cyan blue. Neither was giving an inch. The uproar of cheers from all around grew louder as the finish drew ever closer. "I'm not going to just give this to you, Rainbow. I respect you too much to do that. You're going to have to take it." Sugar Cube Corner. 1 week earlier. When Twilight walked into Sugar Cube Corner, she was surprised to see a few ponies making purchases.
"Oh, why, hello there, Twilight. What brings you here today?"
Mrs. Cake greeted.
"Well, I heard the crime scene investigation is complete. They got everything cleaned up, and that they allowed you two to open up shop again. Just thought I'd stop by and see how everything's going."
Mrs. Cake finished the transaction of the current customer at the counter and bid them a good day.
"It's been a little slower than usual, which I suppose is to be expected. But the general belief around town is that we didn't have anything to do with what Pinky was doing down in the basement, and for that we're very grateful. We were afraid all week that we'd have to close up shop, but that's not going to be the case." "I'm so glad. Ponyville wouldn't be the same without your sweets." "I just wish there were signs of what Pinky was up to. She was flawless at inventory, so we just left her in charge of keeping it in the basement. So many lives could have been saved. Don't trouble yourselves with it. None of us saw this coming. At least it's over. Anyways, I'd like to place an order for tomorrow morning. Can you do it that fast?" "Absolutely, dear. What's the occasion?"
Sweet Apple Acres. That night. The starry night sky hung over the acres, providing the lake with a rich, ambient moonlight. The only sound that could be heard above the crickets was the sloshing of water as the cyan Pegasus went from one end of the lake to the other, uneasily floating on her back.
"Some pony certainly seems to be out late,"
came a tender female voice from above. The voice out of nowhere surprised Rainbow, causing her to flail and sink momentarily before her head popped up again above the surface of the water. She looked up, and above the lake hovered a grayish-purple alicorn pony. Rainbow swam to the nearest corner, and her visitor floated down and landed to meet her. Rainbow gave a short bow.
"Princess Luna, what a surprise,"
Rainbow said, dripping from her late-night swim.
"How have you been, Rainbow Dash?"
the younger royal sister asked.
"Improving slowly day by day." "I see you've taken to swimming." "Yeah, I need a little more practice. But I couldn't sleep tonight, so I came out here to try and relax. So what brings you here, Your Highness?" "I wasn't going to come by until tomorrow, but I was flying overhead and saw you swimming, so I figured, why not now?"
Rainbow waited for Luna to continue.
"I'm leading the investigation into what happened, Rainbow, and I think we've come to the most logical conclusion." "Really? Why did she do this?" "Our coroner analyzed Pinky's brain with a CAT scan and determined that she had developed a split personality within the past few months."
Rainbow's eyes widened.
"Did we cause this?" Rainbow asked. "What do you mean?" "A few months ago, we had planned a surprise birthday party for her, and in order to keep it a surprise, we had to lie to her about coming to one of her parties. Right before the party, I came to get her and bring her to the barn, and she was different. Very different." "How so?" "Her poofy hair was all flat. She talked to inanimate objects as if they were alive, and didn't change back until she realized that the party was for her birthday." "Yes, when her happy side resurfaced, I don't think that the other side simply disappeared. In fact, I think it slowly, unknowingly resurfaced. I think that's why she didn't seem to think she was doing anything wrong to you, or any of her other victims. To her, it seemed normal. So to put it bluntly, bearing that other side of her caused her to slowly go insane." "So we did do it,"
Rainbow realized, a look of sadness overcoming her.
"No, please, don't look at it that way, Rainbow. You couldn't have known what would happen. Just a string of coincidences. No one is to blame for this." All right. Thanks for telling me this, Your Highness," Rainbow replied. "So what will you do now?" the royal nightmare inquired. I'm not sure yet. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I might stay here. Help run the farm with Applejack. Seems appropriate enough. She's one of my best friends. She saved my life, and she could always use another set of hooves to lighten the workload. Well, whatever it is that you'll do, I'm sure you'll be great at it. Have a good night, Rainbow Dash. Thank you, Your Highness, and I'll tell my friends what you found out.
Luna nodded with a smile and gracefully ascended into the starry night. Still dripping wet, Rainbow shook herself off as best she could and headed back to the farmhouse to try and get some sleep. Sweet Apple Acres farmhouse. The next morning. Rainbow awoke with a yawn and was startled to see her four friends around her bed.
What's going on, guys?
She said, fighting off the grogginess of the morning.
Well, you don't actually think we forgot, did you?
Twilight asked. She got up and followed her friends into the kitchen, where a three-layer cake was front and center on the table. It was decorated with an entire spectrum of colored frosting and had an arrangement of candles on top, along with the words, "Happy Birthday, Rainbow Dash."
Oh, wow. I can't believe I forgot,
Rainbow exclaimed happily.
Well, that's why you have us around, Sugar Cube.
Rainbow looked at the colorful cake and proceeded to blow out the candles. None of her friends or the Apple family present seemed to object to having cake for breakfast.
Thanks, guys. I guess with everything that's happened, it kind of slipped my mind.
Slices of cake were served up, and every pony ate heartily.
Hope you don't have any plans today, Rainbow,
Twilight said in between bites of cake.
Why? Do you guys have plans for me?
You could say that, Rarity added. Applejack gave a short whistle, and four uniformed ponies came into the kitchen doorway. They all wore goggles on their forehead and wore light blue swim trunks. "The Ponyville Swim Team," Applejack announced.
Their competition season is over, so we asked if they could come to the farm and give you some swimming lessons. They were happy to,
Fluttershy said. "Yeah," one of the swim team started, a turquoise earth pony. "You've been through a horrible, life-altering experience, and we're thrilled that you've taken to swimming to help you relax and adapt. And we're here to help you enjoy it even more, Rainbow Dash." The turquoise pony stepped forward and shook the overjoyed Rainbow's hoof. "I'm the team captain. They call me Torpedo." Torpedo motioned to the other three, an earth pony and two unicorns. "That's Surf, Tidal Wave, and Finn."
Wow, guys, I don't know what to say,
Rainbow replied to her friends as well as the new guests. "Well, Applejack showed us where the lake is, so whenever you're ready, we'll meet you out there." After the swim team left the farmhouse out to the lake, Rainbow took the last bite of her cake.
Thanks, every pony. I can't tell you what this means.
"Well, quit burning daylight and get out there and get wet," AJ encouraged. Rainbow nodded and happily trotted out to the lake. 3.2 Rematch. Sweet Apple Acres. 1 hour later. "Your technique is coming along great, Rainbow, but you're just pulling yourself along with your hooves. You'll get a farther per stroke if you put your whole body into it," Torpedo instructed before showing her how to maneuver her body along with her strokes. Twilight, Applejack, Fluttershy, and Rarity were relaxing on the shore of the lake, soaking up the sun, while Rainbow and the Ponyville swim team were busy in the lake.
She sure has taken a liking to it,
Fluttershy observed her friend's new hobby. "That's for sure. If I didn't know any better, I'd say she's part fish," Rarity added.
What got her into this in the first place? Twilight inquired.
"Apparently Scootaloo suggested it to her. She said it felt like flying, even though she'd never done any flying of her own yet."
I'm just thrilled that it's gotten her out of that emotional rut she was in that first week,
Applejack answered.
Wonder if there's something in the water,
Fluttershy joked, giggling. Lakeshore. That night. Applejack walked into the clearing and saw Rainbow sitting on her haunches, staring up at the night sky. Coming to her side, she saw her friend with a light-hearted smile.
Today was quite the day. Today was quite the day. That's for sure. Thanks. It means so much to me. Well, don't just thank me. We all had a hand in getting those guys there. Well, not just for today. For your hospitality. For being here. Because, well, the reason I came here.
Applejack waited for Dash to continue.
You cared enough about me to come looking when I didn't show up for something as simple as a slice of pie. If you hadn't, I wouldn't be here right now. You're one of the most caring, loving friends I've ever had.
Rainbow leaned into AJ and rested her head on her shoulders, closing her eyes.
That's why I'm here. I feel safe around you. I know when I go to bed every night, you won't let anything happen to me.
Applejack gently put an arm around her friend.
If my cutie mark really symbolizes making my way through the storms in life, well, I think I'm not out of this storm yet. I don't think I'm out of this storm yet. It's still sinking in that I'm never going to fly again for the rest of my life. Yet I feel like I still have to prove myself. I'm just really, really glad that I have you to help me through this.
Applejack gave the cyan Pegasus a soft squeeze.
Sugar Cube, you have got to be the most stubborn, determined, thick-skulled pony I've ever met. And that's what I love about you. And you don't have to prove yourself to no one, not no more. Because whenever life knocks you down, you get up and keep on running, even after all that's happened.
The light bulb of Rainbow's head clicked on.
Running? That's it!
She sprang to life, leaping up from her sitting position.
That's it! That's it! That's it! That's it!
She exclaimed excitedly. What is it? AJ asked, honestly clueless.
That's what I have to do. The running of the leaves, it's next week. I'm gonna run it again. And this time, I'm gonna win it.
Are you sure that's a good idea, Rainbow?
You're still recovering. AJ, I have to do this. It's how I can prove to myself that I can make it without wings. And you and I can have a rematch.
Say what?
Last year, we tied for last, remember? Well, this year, we'll have a good, clean race. And I want you to give me all you've got.
I'm not so sure about this, Rainbow. I'd rather you make a full recovery first.
Please, Applejack. Make this another birthday present to me. Promise me you'll give me all you've got.
Loving to see Rainbow once again so full of life, Applejack gave in and smiled.
If it means that much to you, Rainbow, you're on.
Sweet Apple Acres, West Orchard. The next afternoon.
Come on, AJ, just let me buck a couple of trees. I gotta learn how to do it if I'm gonna help you run the farm.
For the third time, Rainbow, no. Letting you run in the race next week is as far as I'm budging. I ain't having you slamming those hooves against trees while you're still recovering. When you're back up to 100% and fresh as a daisy, then I'll teach you about apple bucking. Rainbow got a pouty look on her face from losing the argument, muttered, "Fine," then resumed doing laps around the orchard that Applejack was currently bucking. On her third lap around, she passed Twilight, who gave an astonished look at the galloping Pegasus, and then went into the trees to find Applejack.
"Hey, AJ, what's Rainbow up to?" she asked.
"Training," the workhorse replied.
"Training?" Twilight repeated in question form.
"Yep, for the running of the leaves next week."
"What? She's running in that?"
Twilight was surprised.
"Apparently. Got the idea in her head last night, and she's determined to prove something to herself." "And you think that's a good idea?"
"Well, no, not really."
"So you're just going to let her do it?"
"Well, I'm racing her in it."
"So you're encouraging her to do this?"
I've voiced my objections, but her mind's made up. And you know, Dash, once she makes her mind up about something, ain't nothing gonna change that girl's mind."
"Well, if you're sure she'll be okay."
"What about you? Gonna try for 4th place this year?"
"Oh, no, I'm helping Spike announce it this time. He asked me to."
"Yeah, well, good luck with that, Twi."
"I just hope you two aren't gonna need the luck."
3.3. In her moment of doubt.
"I'm not gonna just give this to you, Rainbow. I respect you too much to do that. You're gonna have to take it."
The two ponies ran neck and neck, closer and closer to the finish line. Applejack took one last glance over at her friend, and the look on her face was one of pain.
"Rainbow, are you okay, Shug?"
One of Rainbow's back hooves made contact with the ground the wrong way, and she let out a scream and went down. The rest of the racing herd was too close behind, and Applejack lost sight of the grounded Rainbow in a cloud of hooves, dust, and dirt.
"Rainbow!"
Applejack woke up in a sweat, found herself short of breath and her heart pounding. She must have been tossing in her sleep because Winona was whining at the foot of her bed.
"I'm all right, girl. I'm all right. Just a bad dream, that's all."
AJ got out of bed and quietly made her way to the guest room where Rainbow was sleeping soundly. She was more unsure than ever of her decision to allow Rainbow to enter the race, which was now less than 2 days away. That dream instilled the fears even deeper that Rainbow might badly injure herself in the race. Applejack wasn't a doctor, but Rainbow was here, at her farm, and undoubtedly in her care. She was Applejack's responsibility for now. "Rainbow, this is not a good idea," she whispered, so as to not disturb the sleeping Pegasus. The next morning. Rainbow Dash rose the next morning and came to the kitchen in her hoodie to find Applejack making breakfast in the kitchen. "Hope you're making something hearty, AJ. We gotta eat good for tomorrow," she said happily. "Rainbow, about tomorrow. It's gonna be so awesome. I can just feel it. This is what I need. Listen, Rainbow." Rainbow held in her excitement to allow AJ to speak. "Rainbow, I I don't think this is such a good idea after all. I mean, I know you want to enter the running of the leaves to prove you can make it without wings, but the truth is, Rainbow, you're still recovering from some serious injuries. If you're in the middle of the herd when, and if something happens, you could get trampled. AJ, I know you're worried about me, but something inside is just telling me that I have to do this. I can't really explain it, but I'm running in that race, and that means the world to me, that you're going to do it with me." Applejack realized that this was not going to be easy. "Rainbow, knowing the risk you're taking, I cannot support your decision by running with..." "Rainbow, I know the risk you're taking. I cannot support your decision to run by doing it with you. I'm sorry, but I'm dropping out. As long as you're here, you're my responsibility." The last statement hit Rainbow hard. Her eyes widened, and Applejack could tell that she had immediately been hurt by what she'd said. I I can't believe you. You of all ponies. Rainbow, I'm sorry, but your health comes first. No, I don't want to hear it. I guess asking you to trust me and have faith in me is too much to ask right now." Tears quickly filled her eyes, and the Pegasus turned tail and ran out the door. "Rainbow, wait!" Rainbow didn't stop or look back. She just galloped out past the front fence of the acres, back towards Ponyville. Applejack sat down at the kitchen table with a heavy sigh. Rainbow was just too stubborn for her own good. Later that morning, before high noon, Applejack went to Ponyville to look for Rainbow, instead running into Twilight outside the library. "Hey, Twi, have you seen Rainbow around?" "Not since this morning, when she told me what happened, in tears." Applejack gave a frustrated sigh. "Can't she see that I'm looking out for her best interests?" "Maybe not. When you decided to support her decision a week ago and wait until the day before the race to change your mind." "Then what do you suggest I do, Twilight?" "Run with her in that race tomorrow." "That would show her that I agree with her running in it, when I clearly don't." "No, it shows that you care enough about her to support her, even when you don't agree with what she's doing." I I don't know if I can do that, Twi. If she gets hurt in that race, then there'll be nothing you can do about it. It's her choice, and unless you're willing to drag her back on the farm and tie her to the bed, I doubt you'll be able to change her mind." Applejack exhaled and shook her head. I I just can't. I stand by what I said earlier this morning. It's not a good idea." "Well, then you have until tomorrow at noon to figure out what you're going to do, AJ," Twilight said, and then was on her way. Sweet Apple Acres. That night. Applejack was making her rounds of the house, making sure everything was tidy and picked up, and started down the hall to her room, when she came to the doorway of the guest room. The bed was still unmade from that morning, and Applejack walked over to the dresser where a handful of Rainbow's belongings rested. Her eyes paused at the shimmering gold necklace at the center, with the ruby lightning bolt emblazoned on the crest. "And Rainbow Dash, who could not abandon her friends for her own heart's desire, represents the spirit of loyalty." Thinking back to the element of harmony she represented, she suddenly realized where she had gone wrong today. "Applejack, who reassured me when I was in doubt, represents the spirit of honesty." Honesty. She had made Rainbow a promise to run with her in that race tomorrow, and this morning she had just gone back on that promise. Applejack realized that she could use someone to reassure her when she was in doubt herself. "Maybe it's time that I showed Rainbow some loyalty of my own," she said to herself, picking up the harmony necklace, admiring it in her hooves. That settled it. It was Rainbow's choice, and Applejack decided she would be there to support her, no matter what, regardless of how she felt. A promise was a promise, especially when it came to one of her absolute best friends.
I'll see you at the start line, Rainbow Dash.
The running of the leaves opening ceremony. The next morning.
Good morning, Ponyville, and welcome to the opening ceremonies of the annual Running of the Leaves.
Oh, fuck. Good morning, Ponyville, and welcome to the opening ceremonies of the annual Running of the Leaves. This is your eye in the sky, Spike, along with my two co-hosts, last year's 5th place finish, Twilight Sparkle.
Thanks, Spike. It certainly looks like this year's Running of the Leaves will be one to remember. It's in no small part to a generous donation by the Cloudsdale Weather Factory.
That's right, Twilight. This morning, the Pegasi factory workers brought down an entire cauldron of liquid rainbow to the opening ceremony, and the race's spectators and participants alike have dipped a hoof in the cauldron to show their support for Rainbow Dash.
Ever since what's now being known as the case of the Cupcake kidnappings has been closed, every pony attending the Learning of the Leaves are showing their gratitude to the last victim who managed to make it out alive. And despite some concerns about her recovery, Rainbow Dash has decided to enter the Running of the Leaves again this year, and she's determined to win it.
When Twilight and Spike commented on the pre-race festivities above, Rainbow Dash was making her way through the crowd, mingling with spectators and other racers, thanking them for their concerns and support. Every pony had a rainbow spectrum on one of their front hooves. Rainbow was quite touched, although she was trying her hardest to keep her composure and stay focused on the approaching race.
Ready for a good, clean race?
A familiar voice asked, approaching from behind. Rainbow turned and saw Applejack. Her front two hooves had been dipped in liquid rainbow, and there was a racing number on her flanks.
Change your mind again?
Rainbow asked with a small smile.
Yeah, I'm still worried, but it's your choice, and it was wrong of me to go back on that promise I made. I'm here, and I'm giving you all I've got.
Rainbow and AJ shared a hug, and then during the next few minutes, the racers got situated on the starting line.
On your marks, racers, Twilight announced.
Applejack and Rainbow, right next to each other, put their hooves on the starting line and bent down, ready to bolt off with all the others. Get set, Spike continued. Rainbow licked her lips, and the two friends gave each other a short glance and nodded at each other. They were ready. Go!